Do you really think that your town and your community is ideal to cope with this potential incoming zombie apocalypse? Is there ample space between yourself and other people? Do you have enough food to prevent starvation and thus cannibalization? Are you far enough away from potential target areas in which there may be biological weapons dispersed? Do you know that China has developed mine weapons for use against the people of Taiwan in the event that they invade? Why would you think that they wouldn't use that on the American people if they attack America? I've been talking for years about this programming for the zombie apocalypse. For years in Portland, Oregon, I spoke about it on the air in Portland, Oregon, and nobody cared. And my comments on those videos from back in the day, right, are all now deleted. By the way, for those that want to see my former commentaries on Portland, wait till this winter when I feel up to it to go back to my old channel, which frankly feels haunted, and bring those private videos back to life. And some of them are already there, but you can't search for them. The internet won't let you find them. You literally have to go to my old channel and go back, and work all the way back to when I talked about the zombie apocalypse in 2009. But I told you then that there was programming in our society to get people to accept the zombie apocalypse. Whether we're talking about the Thriller dance in Portland, Oregon, where people reenact the Michael Jackson dance scene from what used to be my favorite music video of all time as a child, Thriller. Or whether it be YouTube itself promoting some sort of a filter. This is before TikTok took the world by storm and influenced many women to put filters on their face. There was the zombie filter. Zombify yourself, said the ad. Showed a beautiful woman on one side of the screen and a zombie face on the right side of the screen. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not okay. Just like Katy Perry's song E.T., talking about sex with fallen angels. This is not okay. So they've been programming society hardcore through media. Even the local radio at times, right, is talking about the zombie apocalypse. I go to the gas station and they're talking about the zombie apocalypse as I pump gas. Prepare for the zombie apocalypse as the telescreen, like something out of 1984, starts talking to me. And I'm looking around going, does anybody else see how crazy this crap is? And then, of course, you got all those friggin' movies, all the different variants of the Evil Dead movies. House of a Thousand Corpses, which my silly ass decided I would watch again the other night. Just shook my head. It's like, Americans have been conditioned to have a unhealthy appetite with extreme levels of violence, not to mention other things and violent video games. So, as I was preparing today's post, and be sure to let me know that you're consuming this content, leave a like on the post, leave a comment on the post, leave comments on the YouTube videos like this one that I'm posting, so more people will find them. Because you'll see in my recent posts, in my recent videos, that is some very relevant information, because I talked about an increase in violence coming in around the time of the eclipses. In my return to the internet after my 3 to 4 year hiatus, what was my message? It happened right before Gaza, by the way. Right before the events in Gaza exploded. And if you look at the recent podcast on the Substack page in which this video is embedded, I talked about this programming of the zombie apocalypse. I talked about the increase in Islamophobia coming after a rise in false flags. Although a lot of people that question false flags in the mainstream conspiracy movement aren't going to question these events, whether they're legitimate or not, as MAGA tells them that Hamas is now invading across the border, sending people into a psychosis and engaging in hate crimes against innocent immigrants and innocent Muslims in the United States and around the world. I said this would happen, and it is happening. So let me address this propaganda. It was propaganda for them to say, Portland is the number one place to move. Portland, Oregon, Portland, Oregon. I don't have to be living in Portland, Oregon to give a damn about the souls in Portland, Oregon, because there is massive sickness in the people in Portland, Oregon. Because if there wasn't, the people of Portland, Oregon would befriend me. The people of Portland, Oregon wouldn't judge me just for thinking slightly differently than them. They would help me, knowing that my heart is good. They wouldn't demand that I agree with everything that they believe in, either from a far left perspective or extreme conspiracy perspective. They would see that I am literally of Portland, Oregon, and have the spirit of Portland, Oregon within me, even though I'm somewhere else. I still care about Portland, Oregon, and I feel, call me crazy, I know within my heart that I know that city like the back of my hand. Whereas these other places that I've moved to, these people, these locals don't give a damn about me. Not a single one of them, not a single human soul for thousands of miles gives a damn about me, except for the others that remember me from my past content. I also got an email from Australia the other day. Hello, from across the pond. This is why I returned to the internet, because there is no one for me here locally. There is no community here for me to be a part of. As much as the internet is highly unconscious, it's through the internet that I can reach some of you with the message. And even if Portland Reddit is going to censor me, even if every Portland Facebook page is going to censor me and treat me like a lesser than, I'm not going to give up, because there's young women and there's young men that are still coming up in that society, and older women and older men that are at retirement age in Portland, Oregon. Like one friend that I had back in the day. And I worry about these people being assaulted and harmed by the violent criminal thugs that are invading the city of my birth. And I feel powerless to do anything about it. For years, I've been warning of a human trafficking epidemic in Portland, Oregon. And so for people to think that Portland is an ideal place either to move or survive a zombie apocalypse, which the news is saying right now, is absolute propaganda. Let me read you what Coin6 has to say. Of the 200 cities, Portland ranks 11 for best cities to survive a zombie apocalypse in 2023. They highlighted Portland's #1 overall score in mobility based on the city's access to ports, marinas, and ease of travel on foot and by bike. The top cities are Houston, Texas. That's bullshit. New York, New York. That's bullshit. San Antonio, Texas. That's bullshit. Miami, Florida. This is all fucking bullshit. All fucking bullshit. All fucking lies. Los Angeles, California. Austin, Texas. San Diego, California. Las Vegas, Nevada. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago. Orlando, Florida. No, 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 no. They are straight up lying to you to your face. I'm telling you the truth. Yet how many videos have I made that have reached the masses? How many views will this video have? This video will have maybe 40 views. If I want to go on my own YouTube channel, maybe it'll have 300 views. But I don't want to talk to those people anymore because most of them are not of the light. People want to talk about targeting and electronic harassment. I think that there's been a fair amount of that over YouTube and towards people in the audience, as I talked about in a recent video regarding Steve Baggs. And the brief side of that is this is someone that I met recently, or met back in 2007 at a World Can't Wait protest. We hung out a few times. He took me to a rave at Tillamook State Park, but he wasn't a close friend, somewhat of a tag-along. Came and went when he wanted, bragged about having sex with strippers. Kind of unusual to hear about a guy going to a strip club, whining about his girlfriend dumping him, and then a stripper going home with him. And then maybe speculate, maybe some men have a certain almost demonic energy that some people are attracted to. That's what I speculated about then, to cause someone to just jump in bed with someone just because they went to a strip club and they were crying over their girlfriend leaving them. Lots of men do that at strip clubs. Most strippers don't hop in bed with them. Well, fast forward to recent years, right? And me and him didn't see each other, haven't seen each other since 2011. He's in the news for basically making terrorist threats, and there he is on Twitter calling my name. Like a zombie, like a psychic zombie. Alex, where are you? Alex, where are you? It's time to come back to the internet. It's time to get on TikTok, as he kept sending me multiple Facebook messages. Get on TikTok, brother. No, I'm not getting on TikTok, but I appreciate the support, I guess, if you can call it that. And the conversation got weird, so I just stopped communicating with him. But then I decided to look him up, and I was shocked, right? Because he did not tell the truth as to why he was in Japan. And the point is that we are seeing an increase in violence, which you can call zombie behavior. And instead of laugh about it and joke about it and lie and say that certain cities in America are ideal for the zombie apocalypse, we need to be honest with ourselves and call out Portland, Oregon as a place where the zombie apocalypse has been going down. It's going down. Okay, you can see it in the negativity of the people that live there, the hatred of the homeless. You could see it in the homeless themselves. You could see the demonic possession of the homeless themselves. Not all the homeless, but we're talking about hardcore fentanyl users, users of other narcotics, drug addicts that moved to Portland, Oregon when Measure 110 was passed, which legalizes the use of heroin and meth. Now, when I was an addict in 1999, I was not so lucky to get away with that. And I was put in jail and I was stamped and put into their system. Fortunately, I survived that experience, those experiences, which lasted a few years. And I got out of that and I found my light through public speaking by launching Outside the Box TV and pushing back against the zombie apocalypse, which of course was already inactive in our society after 9/11, as that 9/11 lie, as that 9/11 deception, and don't you forget it, convinced a lot of people to think that it's okay to go overseas and kill millions of people. So if you don't recognize that that's already a zombie apocalypse, you're not paying attention. And there's a lot of people that are not paying attention. And I'm here to wake your ass up as long as you choose to listen to me. Let me just say this. I mentioned the human trafficking risk. Why do I mention Portland as a human trafficking hub in the future? I know it is now. I'm talking about after the collapse, where you have literally almost caravan type criminal cartels and gangsters rolling into town, snatching women off the street, stuffing them in their car and shipping them overseas to end up God knows where. And even if China plays a role in this and Russia plays a role in this, even Leon saw this intuitively when he, in his psychic visions, saw the invasion of America. And those links to my Daily Motion channel are over at Substack. The reason that I find Portland to be at risk is its close proximity to the ocean. You can reach the ocean from the Willamette River to the Columbia River and out you go, because Portland has a rapist Shanghaiing past. And actually, when we look at the Shanghaiing past, we're not necessarily dealing with human trafficking of women, although there was a lot of prostitution in Old Town back in the day when they founded the city. So it has a lot of that negative, dark sexual energy in Portland, Oregon, along with the fact that they raped the earth and they polluted the river. And you have to be a highly unconscious person to be in Portland and not know about the evil spirits in Portland, Oregon, or the demonic, the archonic, right? There's definitely technological stuff going on with the smartphones, with the 5G. If you pay attention to everything that I post, you'll notice that I address the technology and the spirits in technology that are using technology to possess people. But there's also earthbound spirits from the spirits that have been murdered, that have been harmed, that have been raped, that are still in existence in these haunted sea level places on the earth. You think that it was just trying to get away from people and get into nature. When I went into the mountain range of Colorado, I was trying to get away from that haunted dead zone energy, that consciousness dead zone energy, which unfortunately now I'm back in another consciousness dead zone. Maybe one day that will change. But it's not changing yet. I would have to have resources, money. I would have to pull myself out of poverty. I would have to have enough, literally, people supporting my work through contributions for my life to change. But it's not going to change. Folks, I could be dead in 5 years if the region that I'm in ends up getting nuked by Russia. And so when I talk about preparing for the hereafter, right, I'm not talking some crazy stuff like some others when they talk about the hereafter. I'm talking about preparing for the potential that we may be taken out of this world, just like that, in the blink of an eye. And there's no way for us to escape certain areas in which the radiation is just spreading, no matter how much iodine you have or what kind of mass you have. Okay, because shit is about to get real. This is not a time for people to lie to people and say Portland, Oregon is safe for any reason whatsoever, because the awake people in Portland, Oregon know that it is not safe, and Ted Wheeler has sold them down the river. Do you know that Ted Wheeler was a part of Top Off 4? Have you seen my video on Top Off 4? Again, go to Daily Motion, look for me, or look for my posts on Substack. I took that stuff off YouTube. China is manipulating YouTube. You look up stuff regarding them putting the Muslims in camps in China, and you find videos praising China, saying China's doing a great job. China, oh yeah, go China, with these female influencers saying that they're living in paradise. Pure bullshit. Google is propping up Chinese propaganda. So whatever China and or Russia and or maybe even North Korea and or Iran and maybe even some other countries, whatever they may be doing in the future with the occupation of America and the subsequent human trafficking epidemic, this harvesting of the human female vessel could be a part of a darker agenda, maybe even a hybrid program. Is Elon Musk involved? is what I want to know. Are other people involved that are involved in top secret space exploration programs in which they tell you, oh, by a certain point in time, we'll be off to Mars by 2030. We'll be off to Mars by, and now we're actually getting closer to those dates, and I don't hear them talking about that stuff as much. But I told myself back in the day when they were talking about those things, if they do this, they're not going to have a diverse genetic pool of humans going to Mars. It's going to be select bloodlines that they intend to manipulate and control and put into their hybrid program. So a lot of people want to talk about an anti-white program, but a lot of these individuals don't talk about what could be coming to white women in the future, even during an occupation of America, or what that could be about. Why are they being harvested? Is it really just for, the lustful urges of some perverts in Saudi Arabia, right? Of which there are many, but not all the Saudis are evil. And it was wrong in me in the past to think that everybody in some of these countries is evil and corrupt because their government is corrupt, okay? We shouldn't judge everybody because of the actions of some religious fanatic followers and some people on the right wing and some people on the left wing. But without a doubt, there are many zombies in Islam, many zombies in Christianity, many zombies in the Patriot movement. I also call them Patriot zombies, of which I wanted some artwork to be made of in 2015 when I saw the Patriot zombie coming but couldn't find an artist with a gusto to actually do it. They thought it was a nice idea. Zombie Patriot. That's funny, Alex. Fast forward to 2023. I'm sorry, what? Huh? Where's the artwork? Because it's happening. And then, of course, you have the zombie leftists. Oh, stop killing black people, but you won't say stop killing Afghanis. And then you burn down a building or try to burn down a federal building as if that's going to make Portlanders look bad or look good. And what it really did is hurt the BLM movement also, for those that care about those things. If you want people to care about your cause and care about what you're saying, supporting property destruction and harming independent businesses that aren't in line exactly with how you think is a zombie behavior. So no, Portland, Oregon is not a great place to survive the zombie apocalypse. Portland is a place where the zombie apocalypse, ladies and gentlemen, is going down. And what are these other cities that it's telling you to go to survive? Houston, Texas, that's one of the top 6 targets of Russia. In the event of Russia attacking the U.S., there are certain targets in the U.S., and Houston, Texas is one of them. San Francisco, California is another. New York is another. Seattle is another. I believe Chicago is another. And there may be some targets in Oklahoma City. And where I was living, by the way, in southwest Colorado near Durango, even though it seems peaceful, and it seems like it's close to nature, the people that live there are out of their fucking minds. I had one guy on my land one day who was helping me get my car up and running again, and we have a few beers over the fire. What a mistake that is, to have beers with people over the fire that you do not know. And he's talking about, we gotta love Hitler. Hitler needs our love. And I'm thinking to myself, my Lord, it just keeps coming and coming and coming. One day it's a neo-Nazi who believes in white nationalism, even though he knows 9/11 was an inside job. Try to wrap your mind around that one. And then you got another here who's on my land who's saying that we need Hitler. And another day I'm hearing my neighbors, when I have some beers with them, joke about eating and raping Iranians. And of all the times that I've told people about the story, right, I would never, I swear before God, I would never just make that shit up. These are things that I have experienced. Have you experienced those things? Living by yourself without a gun, surrounded by freaks in the middle of the wilderness, trying to have a spiritual experience, but really feeling hated by the evil of those woods. And then later, a month ago, doing my own investigation into that area, because I'm still trying to figure out why that area is so fucked energetically. And I'm told that it's cursed because of what they did to the Ute Indians. And there's many, many natural places on this earth that you might think are ideal for surviving a zombie apocalypse, but there's evil in them hills, boy. There's evil in them hills. I remember even having Nephilim giants in dreams looking at me like, what kind of a human are you? Some bald white giant guy, in my shed. What kind of a human are you? You're an interesting kind of a human. Oh, Lord. So my message to the people of Portland again is, if you've got a high dollar home and you know that stuff's coming on the horizon, sell and get out while you're ahead. Before the housing market tanks, if that even is going to happen or is possible. I understand some people are old and elderly. I know of several elderly people in Portland that are not likely to move. But as I said to one, if you wanted to move to Central Oregon, maybe I would come there to help you. But then again, I have a reminder email from a now good friend who's watching. She's in kind of like a relative that I've never had, or a sister. And she's watching the channel and she's like, Alex, I know you care about Portland and you warned me about Portland, but we both know what's coming, and do not go back. And I won't. I can feel Portland calling me back because I care about Portland, and it's the only city that I vibrated with to a degree. And then I knew it was time to get out. And in reality, it was meant to be for no one to help me when I fell into joblessness and thus homelessness. Nobody gave a shit about me, despite the fact that before Clyde Lewis, I was the man on the air that was not co-opted by the right wing, who talked about the corruption in the military-industrial complex, the surveillance society, the facial recognition cameras that were going around downtown, which they, I believe, took out. They are not participating in the facial recognition program, but there's still drones overhead. You're still close to the ocean, and there are still plenty of Russian trolls that have called for Portland to be nuked. What do you think happens to a region when it's nuked and there's radiation everywhere and there's no food? You have cannibalization. You have people raping each other. You have people becoming sick from the blast. Portland is not a good place. Like, folks, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. Don't you understand me? I see what others cannot see. Is Clyde Lewis of Ground Zero Radio in Portland, Oregon warning you about this? Is any other man in Portland, Oregon trying to warn you about this? What's their name? Tell me in the comment section. There's Veli Ray on YouTube, although I don't think that he wants to engage with me, but I did send him a message. And he is covering the murder and death that is taking place in Portland, Oregon. He is calling out on his channel the serial killers, the rapists, the sick psychopaths that are harming individuals and harming women in Portland, Oregon, of which there are allegedly some stories about serial killers. And of course, Fox News will use that. They will use that news to make Portland look bad and super lawless. But it doesn't really matter how many cops you have, right? This whole thing about not having enough cops is not where the evil is coming from. There is an evil energy that is being drawn to Portland, Oregon, right? It's not just the homeless. It's not just people that kidnap women. It's the consciousness straight up of many of the people that move there. Because if there was a great level of consciousness and love and light taking place in Portland, Oregon, they would be, listen to me, they would be creating media that I would be able to consume. There is a gross disdain for the truth. Whether it's a spiritual truth, a geopolitical truth. I'll be talking about the solar maximum for years, and then trolls will pop up on my old channel and say we're in solar minimum. When I'm talking about how we're affected by the solar flares, even when it's solar minimum, even during a solar minimum, there are still solar flares. It is a lie to say that the sun is not active at all, or does not have any sunspots, or does not create and emanate CMEs, also known as coronal mass ejections. You know what that is, right? If you don't know what that is, you might be a zombie who believes that there is no sun, who believes that the sun is a light bulb. And perhaps you have other bizarre beliefs as well that do nothing to help us spiritually exit this potential simulation matrix. So you can have theories upon theories about theories and theories within theories, but just being of that mindset is not going to help you spiritually evolve. And so when you have a city like Portland, Oregon that becomes super greedy, super lustful with its strip clubs, with its prostitution, with its OnlyFans creators, which I'm sure there's plenty of porn now being created in Portland, Oregon through OnlyFans, right? Now that they have legitimized prostitution, with drug abuse, with alcohol abuse, with people working full-time jobs and literally being slaves when they really don't have to, if they wanted to live in nature, if they wanted to form independent communities. But society is not that conscious yet. It wants to believe that it's super conscious. It wants to believe that all the world's problems just come from Donald Trump. I'm not his buddy. I'm making a point here. I don't like the right wing. I don't like what they represent, but it's a lie to say that Portland, Oregon and the people of Portland, Oregon are an energetic opposite to the racism of the far right. They have their own white supremacy, straight up, and they are proud of it. Willamette Week was proud of it when I lived there in 2014, and they talked about the top 25 things of Portland, Oregon, and one of those things that they stated was Portland was one of the whitest cities. You can't say that other groups are the white supremacists, and then in your own publication say Portland is so great because it's a super white city. Okay? I wouldn't make that up. But people want to act like, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that about us. We're super progressive. We're super love and light. Prove it. Prove it through your media creation. Prove it through your blogs. Prove it through your bravery, and create some media that can be consumed for people outside of Portland that exposes what's happening in Portland. Who can you tell me that's in Portland right now that's exposing the current zombie apocalypse that's manifesting? Because what Clyde Lewis is doing, ladies and gentlemen, is courting people up to these entities by terrifying the living daylights out of them. Beware of all media figures that use the image of the gray as an emblem to promote their work and to increase sales. I do not recommend things of the demonic, things of Baphomet, things of the gray, glorifying alien figures. I don't go to any churches because the people at these churches and many mosques in America are very closed-minded. So I use discernment, and I share with my audience a wide range, in some cases, of spiritual views and teachings from around the world. And they're not all ready for that, but there's a few of you out there that are on the level. Paul, for example, Paul J., you're out there. Jim G., you're out there. Emily, you're out there. And it's because of people like you that I don't let the unconsciousness that is at times going to find my content stop me from saying the things that need to be said. If you're in Portland, Oregon, and you agree that my message needs to be shared with other Portlanders, you need to understand that it needs to be shared with a wide range of Portlanders, not just people that believe, quote unquote, in certain conspiracy theories, because a lot of them are not dealing with the light, and a lot of them are angry with me for having a different perspective on things that are happening in their lives, in that city, and in our world. And so it's really important that people put my information in front of people that are not already pre-programmed by all of these ideas, by all these know-it-alls, and it be shared with people that have the eyes to see and ears to hear, people that will actually appreciate my unique insight and advice. If you want to email me with specific information about Portland, Oregon that you think that I should talk about, whether it be Ted Wheeler and his involvement in corruption there, whether it be the homeless crisis, whether it be the cartel presence that's going to be increasing in Portland, Oregon, right? Because it's not really about the Gypsy Jokers anymore. It's about other criminal groups in Portland, Oregon that, in my opinion, one day might be involved in a massive trafficking ring working with superstate nations. If you give a damn about the people in Portland, Oregon, and if you have the heart and you have that willpower that can hold back that demonic interference that enters into the head and says, Alex is no good, Alex is no good. If you don't realize that's going on, you're not paying attention to things that I'm warning you about because it is going on. My email is solarstream333@proton.com. Website is alexansary.substack.com.
Yeah, no one knows where the money is, and then people who are calling that need the help, they're like, okay, well, you have to be homeless. And the people that are homeless, they can't even get into a shelter, a hotel, a voucher, or none of that. It's crazy how that's going. Now, it's 2,000 people. 2,000 people we had 2,000 vouchers. 22,000 people. 22,000 people applied for 2,000 vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane to me. That we're supposed to take care of one another. We're supposed to look out for one another. When you walk on the street, you're not supposed to step over somebody. You don't judge anybody or walk in anybody's shoes because you never know what they've been through until you've been in their shoes. It's insane. I don't judge. I would take anyone off the street what they're going through. I've dealt with the worst because that's the type of person I am. But also, there are people you can't help that really need a different type of help, and they're not getting it. And then they end up stabbing somebody, just like the two guys got stabbed. And then another person gets stabbed. And then it's too late.
Yeah, so I'm aware that there was a shooting of a woman about a month ago, and then there was the talk of the serial killers that even Fox News was talking about. And then I don't know what their agenda is as far as exploiting Portland being the right wing and Fox News. I have an idea. I have suspicions, but so
They have our pensions tied up with Fox News, right?
what's going on with this? No.
Yeah. Okay. So Portland and I know Oregon, the state of Oregon, the Oregon state attorney, and I believe this attorney from New York. They're suing Fox News because of the Dominion lawsuit that they have to pay the $1 billion lawsuit, and because of that messes with our purse, with the pension, our pension is in stock. They have the stock invested in Fox Network. So sure, especially about COVID and all, yeah. With disrespect, yeah, most definitely, yeah.
So, what would your advice? What would your advice to me be as far as like really important issues that need to be addressed, like issues with regards to the homeless and maybe other issues, including, I don't know, other things that might pop up?
The homeless for sure, and the mental health, the lack of mental health, the help or assistance for people with mental health.
They're really not helping? Do they not have facilities there?
It's not enough. It's not enough. So what they're doing is not enough. There's not enough available. There's not enough resources for the people that actually need the help, like the home. I mean, like, come on, they need. Okay, I would talk about the homeless situation. I would talk about the mental health issues out here. I mean, like the fact that people can go around and bust business windows 8 times, get arrested 30 times, and do it a fourth, costing city more money and just like acting out, and not knowing how to help these people, or what to do. We need the internet. What steps do we need to take to actually see real change, real change, not just talk about it, but real change.
Weird, but it's scary. It's just scary. I spent a night down here one night with me and my husband. We got stuck we go to the clinic right here, and just like hearing the screams and screeches and shrills. They weren't just like human screams. They were like guttural, like demonic. And I don't know why people don't see it, but I know it's real with all my heart. I know it's real. I mean, there's just people don't bend that way. The way, like, you can't contort yourself in this weird, and then stay like that for, what the hell is that? You couldn't do it sober, and you couldn't do it normal. Like, it's just demonic, man. It just is. People's limbs are rotting off of them everywhere. Nobody cares. They don't care. And that's not just mental illness. That goes way beyond that. Walking around with pus, dripping maggots, and they just don't care. They don't give a fuck. It smells like death. Sometimes you walk on this balcony and it smells like death. Several people are losing their limbs and they just don't care.
What you're describing is hell. Literal hell.
What is a zombie? It's a corpse that is animated, right? Rotted flesh, the corpse.
Damn.
I don't know how else to look at it if that's not demonic. Like, what is it?
Wow.